Now, poetry.
I be flossin'. I be flossin'.
Oh,
I be
brother, this guy stinks!
Emma Lazarus was an American poet and activist. Emma Lazarus had started becoming more notable when she took the role as Hermione in Harry Potter.
Oh, wrong person.
Here we go, here's the right one. Actually became more notable during the early 1880s when she had started taking up the role of writing controversial pamphlets against the persecution of Jews in Russia. Emma Lazarus was one of the first notable Jewish American authors who had supported Jewish refugees. As a Jewish descendant, Lazarus had been interested with her own heritage that she was inspired to write about the struggles of Jewish Americans. Emma Lazarus' most notable accomplishment in her sonnet, The New Colossus, in which it welcomes newly arrived immigrants to the land of opportunity. Aside from her work of poetry, Lazarus was an activist towards issues of economic reforms and land value tax. Ideally, the United States had originally chosen Lazarus to write a poem that would raise funds for the development of the Statue of Liberty on the pedestal. Lazarus had apparently declined, but wrote the New Colossus from the events of mishaps that were occurring towards immigrants. However, the New Colossus, which had been engraved on the pedestal of the Statue of Liberty in 1903 in honor of Lazarus after her death.
In the Jewish synagogue at Newport, this poem is about the realizations of the masterpiece that God has made for people to see in the world, to enjoy and experience every day as they live. It starts off about wonders that occurs around the world. Later on, it appreciates the changes and oddities that happens over time. In the end, the narrator ends with the suspense of realizing the mysteriosity of how life works, no matter how majestic it may be. As an interpretation, this piece had meant as a stream of consciousness for Lazarus as to how she sees life differently, by connecting with God by the connection of religion. The themes that can be identified in this poem are life, religion, and purpose. The symbols that had occurred were the creation of God and how they symbolize as miracles. The narrator sees her environment as a marvelous thing. The character demonstrates awestruck and amazement due to the words that are filled with passion in each line. The narrator develops and changes over the course of the text due to the sudden realizations that they are having. The author uses a character development to illustrate larger themes and meanings in the text by having a certain pathway of role and personality that the narrator holds that the audience starts to become aware of. The form of the text is a poem. The genre of the text is a nonfiction narrative. The poetic structure that is used is a unique form of having the second and fourth line to rhyme each time. This piece of literature was supposed to be written in the year 1871 by the support of the given source on the bottom right of the poem. Furthermore, the year 1871 was an impactful year to the U.S. due to several issues introduced, such as the Indian Appropriation Act, the Ku Klux Klan Act, and the Chicago Fire Incident. In relation to the poem, the year 1871 holds certain aspects to life and how confusing yet unexplainable things do happen out of the blue.
Another poem by Emma Lazarus, 1492. This poem is about how Emma Lazarus had two views on the year 1492. One of the views being how horrible it was for Jewish people because they were exiled from Spain and was rejected by other countries. The other view being that Christopher Columbus discovered America, which allowed Jewish people to immigrate there and restart their lives. The themes in the poem are hope, determination, and survival. The symbols in the text are the flaming sword and a virgin world. The flaming sword is from the Bible when Adam and Eve were banished from the Garden of Eden, and the sword was put to guard the tree of life. The line a virgin world meaning America. The main character are Jewish people. The character trait is determination. We know this because when Spain chose to exile Jewish people, they were rejected by other countries and was determined to find a new home. In the beginning, the Jewish were despaired when they were exiled, but gained hope after Christopher Columbus discovered America. Their motivation was to find a new home. The author uses the character to demonstrate how there is good and bad. Structure of the poem is a sonnet. The point of view of the text is from third person. The impact of this is it makes it seem like we get to see what the author is seeing. The author uses stream of consciousness writing to show us what she is thinking. The tone of the piece is realistic because the author talks about events that actually happened. The mood of the piece is optimistic because the author talks about how Jewish people were exiled but found a new home in America. There are Bible references and is written in dialect. The dialect makes the text seem older. This piece was published in 1888 after her death. The piece is meant to show how there are two sides to every story and how 1492 was a bittersweet year for Jewish people.
The New Colossus. This poem is about the introduction of the land of opportunity and what the Statue of Liberty stands for the United States. As an interpretation, the New Colossus is a welcoming statement for immigrants that are coming to the United States and describing the significance of the Statue of Liberty and how she welcomes whoever steps on towards the land of opportunity as a kind acceptance with no regrets. The themes that can be identified in this poem are hope, freedom, and kindness. The symbols used in the text is the Statue of Liberty and how she sets out as an angel welcoming new immigrants to the country. Another symbol used is a torch, which represents as a burning hope for the immigrants. The characters develop and change over the course of the text by revealing more and more of who they really are. Their motivation is to convey how outgoing they are to welcome people. The author uses character development to illustrate larger themes and meanings in the text by implementing their significance and how important they really are. The form of the text is a poem, which is an allegory. The poetic structure that is used is the structure of a sonnet. The text is written from third-person point of view. The impact of the point of view on the meaning of the text makes it as if it is a fairy tale. The author uses the narrative strategies of the streak of consciousness writing by implementing details as if an individual has never described it that way. This piece of literature was written in 1883 to support the development of the Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty, or known as the Mother of Exiles, is a symbol of hope for those who are lost and are wishing to find hope. Lady Liberty was built to welcome immigrants settling onto the United States for new beginnings. Emma Lazarus had written this piece from the inspiration of events of mishaps that were occurring towards immigrants.